Hey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Real 50 over 50. It's Donna Cravata, and today we have Dr. Carolyn Mack, and she is here to share stories of reinvention. I'm going to give a quick little bio and then hand it on over. So, Carolyn has gone from retail to higher education and created a side hustle of coaching and empowering midlife women as they navigate life and work transitions. She lives in Washington, D.C. now, but she's had quite a, I don't know, traversing back and forth across the country. And we'll get to talking about that a little bit today, too. But Carolyn, I just want to welcome you. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation and sharing stories. And what do you want the good folks to know?
Well, thank you, Donna. I am so glad to be here. I'm glad for this platform and just about me. It seems to be a little bit difficult to talk about myself, but I have walked this walk. I've been in my 50s for a little while now, and I'm embracing it. And it's been a fun transition getting to the point to know that it's okay to be where I am. I don't have to be young like I was in my 20s. Oh my God, I don't want to go back there ever. But if I and it's great being in your 30s. My 40s was fabulous, and that was my hashtag before hashtags even came out. I was like, I'm 40 and fabulous. So that's kind of the way I live my 40s. And now that I'm in my 50s, it's like 50 and still fabulous, but a couple of other F words that I may not be able to say live here. But
Say whatever you want.
fantastic is one that comes to mind, but there's an adjective that comes before that I can't say. But anyway, that's me in a nutshell. Just enjoying life and walking it out because it's all new. Because I'm attempting not to do the same things that I've done in the past, but looking forward to doing great new things. Like I have a new goal. It was on my bucket list. The idea is I'm jumping out of an airplane before I turn 60. I'm going
Yay.
to parachute out of an airplane before I turn 60. I'm looking
I
for a
love
few daring women to go with me. So I'm
I
just
love it.
putting that out there right now. So that's my
Okay,
start.
so you need to meet Tracy Higginbotham.
Okay.
She's part of this group too, and she
Nice.
has a mission where she gets women together to do different sports all the time.
Nice. Yes,
So
I
I
need
will
to
I
meet
will
her.
connect you two, but she just had
Yes.
like a stand-up paddleboarding thing, and she had um what's the thing where the parasailing? She had a group of
Ah,
people doing parasailing.
yes.
So I will connect you two because maybe you'll be going
Awesome.
skydiving together.
Yes. I already have the place. Vegas is the place.
Okay,
I
all
just
right.
have to set
You
the date.
guys could work out the details, but I think I've got your wing woman.
Nice. I love it. I love it because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are ready to just jump, and that's
Yeah,
that's part of what I do. As the midlife strategist, it's like it's time to leap because that's what you have to do. It's time out for trying to ease into things. Now we're at the age and stage in our lives where even though our bodies may say you better not leap, our bodies are a little bit slower, but our minds can definitely leap us into all of these great and wonderful places and spaces. I'm loving it. I'm
yeah,
loving it. So,
yeah. I am too. I am too. And um, when I turned 50, it was just like this whole everything. The only other time that this happened to me was like the minute I gave birth to my son. It was
okay.
like all of my priorities reshifted and clicked into a different order. And the same
Mhm.
thing happened when I turned 50. It was like, okay, we need to shake this up and like reprioritize things because what worked yesterday, literally yesterday, isn't going to work tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was as you were saying that, I was like, okay, where was I when I hit 50? And as far as other bodies that are in my life, like where were my children? They were in high school. So I really embraced that 50 transition, which is much different from when I turned 30. When I turned 30, I nearly had a nervous breakdown because I was, that whole thing, I was no longer in my 20s, and that shook me. because my life was, set up in such a way that I was following the plan of somebody else. You
Exactly.
and you hit these ages and you hit these milestone ages where, you're no longer in college. You should be buying a house now, getting a spouse now, having the children now, getting the career now. And I hit 30 and I was still all over the place. They
But
didn't warn you.
that biological clock is a sneaky bastard because
It is.
that really messed me up in my early 30s because I felt this pressure that I had to have children. And there is like a definite like end time,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
and
okay, that
all the
and
other
it
parts aren't
allowed.
lining up.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so do I have the kids before the house or do I have the house before the kid
Yeah.
and the career? And where am I? And, things were just not going as planned. And whose plan was it? It definitely wasn't mine, but I was following somebody else's GPS at that point in time in my life. And I remember nearly collapsing in the shower that day. I mean, I remember it vividly because here I was in a one-bedroom apartment, living single, with a semi-decent job. I can't even really no, actually, I was just kinda winging it. I was in between jobs. I had
Mhm.
left one job, and then I was, like, kinda hitting and missing on jobs, just
Yeah.
surviving, and all of a sudden, it was like, "This is not where it is." And although that's true, it wasn't it wasn't my truth.
Yeah. Well,
It was
you
true of
didn't know
something.
your truth yet,
Right,
and I
and
think
I'm
that's
like,
the angst of it is because, all you have is somebody else's answers, you don't have your own yet, and
"Exactly."
and I that's one of the big reasons that this whole project is important to me because, like, I wish somebody told me these things when I was 30. Nobody told me these
Exactly.
things. Mothers didn't tell us this.
No, it's like it was just supposed to happen, and I
Yeah.
think that was okay. I think that's part of my challenge because when I'm very literal.
Mhm.
And when people, even my parental units, when they told me something was supposed to happen and they didn't give details or,
Mhm.
the bullet list or how this is supposed to play out, I simply expect it to happen
Yeah, just
because you
proof.
didn't give me any other details. You said this is going to happen, and I'm like, okay, so when, where, how is when this, and they don't tell you that you got to put in some work, you got
Mm.
to do some research, you got to. They didn't say that. They just said it would happen.
Okay, so let's play a little game here because I really do want to inspire younger women and help them, move through these hurdles more gracefully than we did.
Yeah,
Um, on that day when you were in the shower, when you turned 30 and everything was not exactly where it was supposed to be,
right.
what do you wish you knew?
I wish I had known how to navigate between because graduating from college and then getting to 30,
Mhm.
where to turn at each year. If you just gave me by when you turn 22, this should have happened. When you turn 23, just a general guideline of where I'm supposed to be by the time I'm 30. If you're telling me by the time I'm 30 I should be here, give me some
On
guideposts.
how to get
Give
there.
me some mile markers on how to get there.
Mhm.
And, you know, truth be told, my family, they weren't college educated and and it's not saying anything against them. It's like they told me as much as they knew.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them for that much. But it was a lot more difficult than I imagined because like I said, I thought I was going to get it, it's just going to come. And then the places where I was looking for it, and then I had my own challenges as well, um, my own personality challenges. I was timid. I was incredibly timid. I know you probably don't think that now, but I was incredibly timid and I wasn't speaking up for myself. And I just kind of did what I was told.
Mhm.
And living single and being a person that needs to be told where and what to do, I was stagnated. And I was stagnated. I was stuck because I kept doing what I knew to do until anybody would tell me what to do next.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that I have to tell me what to do next. I get
Mhm.
to make that decision.
Mhm. So
And
so how did you learn to listen to your intuition?
I didn't have anything else. I really didn't. I had a few people that were in my circle and they were kind of guiding me, but they were guiding me again using their GPS and giving me insights based on what their GPS was telling them to do, and not necessarily looking at what my ideas, what my inner thoughts were, what my desires were. It was always about where the world socially said I was supposed to be and how to get
Mhm.
there. And so it, I don't know. It was, it was just when I look at it, it's like I feel sad for me because I was just kind of stuck going hither and yon, to and
Yeah,
fro,
yeah,
just winging it.
yeah.
But when I embraced it for myself and started taking myself on, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to take what I think I need from this person or that person, but I'm going to do it my way.
Mhm,
And it comes with bumps and bruises, but I don't have anyone to blame but myself if it doesn't go well. And I don't have anyone to congratulate but myself when it
mhm.
goes right. And that feels so much better to me because it puts me in charge. It puts me in control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what I was looking for, even when I was giving my life over to all these people to guide me. I really wanted to do it on my own. And one of the things is when I decided to do it on my own, and I had a thing when I was younger, and I would come up with an idea because I really wanted something to happen a certain way. And when people would give me options for doing it differently, it would upset me to the point where I wouldn't even want to do it anymore. It's
Mhm,
like, hey, let's go to the movies. Well, why don't we do this? I don't want to do that. I want to go to the movies. And they would, and it always bugged me. It's like, you're not hearing me.
mhm,
And my voice wasn't being heard by a lot of people in my world. And when I decided to do things on my own way, and they didn't want to go with me, I was like, that's perfect. Then I get to
mhm,
do it my way.
mhm,
And one of the things, especially here in the last couple of years, let's bring it forward a little bit. The last couple of years, especially when I decided I was going to move to Texas, I mean, to DC in the midst of COVID. We were still just barely coming out of COVID lockdown in 2021. And I had always wanted to move back home. My family is here in the East Coast. I've been in Texas for almost 20 years, raising my family, doing the right thing, keeping my head down, getting my grind on. And when COVID hit, I realized didn't really have any family where I was. I was in El Paso, and all my friends were locked down with their families. And
mm.
so I was alone. My kids were in school. I was at the empty nest phase, but it felt different
Yeah.
because I couldn't distract myself by going out to eat and going
Mhm,
hanging out with friends. I was just stuck. And I was like, now's the time.
yeah. And
Now's the time.
so, talk a little bit about how that went.
Oh my goodness. When you make a decision, it's funny how things just start to line up, but I was on the fence and I was like, I want to, but I don't want to. So I wasn't really, and said, let me just renew my lease for one more year. Give me
Mhm,
one more year to get it right. The owners of the home was like, "No, well, you got until July." So that was the first thing, was like
mhm,
that door slammed shut in a very real way. It's like, "You have 9 months to figure this out."
yeah.
And I knew that didn't wanna stay. I didn't wanna move to another home in El Paso. So I said, "Okay, it's time to move. You gotta find a job. You gotta pack everything up. You gotta do all of these things." I had no idea. Everywhere I had moved in my life, some male unit. My father moved me, my husband moved me. I was not the mover. I would, and so I had to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I had no idea. So I started Googling stuff. I had seen commercials on pods and all of that. So I just started winging it. I
Mhm,
truly was winging it but I'm the kind of person when I start moving, I'm like a runaway train. And I just kept pulling things in, and I need this and I need that and I need this and I need movers and I need to sell stuff. And I just kept doing it. I didn't even think about it. It was like, this needs to be done. Here's how I'm going to do it. Then I would do it. I didn't think about, well, what if it doesn't work? It had to work.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That it became one of those things where this has got to work. I have no other way. I applied for jobs. I finally got a job. Great. I never lived in DC a day in my life. Knew nothing about I knew about the city, but had never lived here. All of my family was in New Jersey, Baltimore, Philadelphia. But here I was. I'm like, okay, going to a place I don't know. That's okay. I sold off what I could. I sold off a lot of stuff. I got my son's bed, everything. I was like, if I don't need it, I'm not taking it because I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
And it was exhilarating, exhausting, but it was so enjoyable because I was able to reap all of the benefits of doing one, what I wanted to do, two, in the way that I wanted to do it. I had to take care of everything because no one else was there. And when I reached out to my family, because I kind of felt like I need some support,
Hmm.
no one was there to support me.
Hmm.
Not because they couldn't, they just, it wasn't suitable for them. They were making it like it doesn't work for me.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I understand that. So I had to then do it on my own. I loved it after the fact.
And what made you choose Washington over one of the other cities where your family was?
It was simply that's where the job was.
Oh, okay.
I was applying all up and down the East Coast, but I realized I was like, I really don't want to live in New York. So that one I was like, okay, so we'll go back to Philly. And then like the jobs in Philly. It's just the turnaround. We
Mm.
were still in COVID. They were kind of hiring, but
Mhm.
not really.
Mhm.
And, where I ended up was a perfect fit for me. It was what I was familiar with. It was in medical education. And, the job ends up is in Bethesda, Maryland. But I'm like, I want to live in DC. And so I was like, it's not that far away. So I went ahead and rented me a place, found a place for me and my dogs, and the rest is not really history because it took a long time.
Mhm.
My When you use a pod, you have to work on their schedule. And I had everything planned and piled up on top of each other because I just
Mhm.
didn't know.
Mhm.
And I was very, very ambitious with my timeline. So, so
Nobody
I
else
mean,
was on the same timeline, huh?
no, it was scary for a minute because I couldn't find anyone who could, like, clean the house before I left, and I was trying to get a cleaning team in and the people to uh, do the carpets and everything, and they were literally on top of each other. I
Mhm.
had people moving the stuff out Thursday morning. I had the carpet cleaners coming in at 3 o'clock, and I had and
You do things
then
the way I do things.
yes, and I had no idea. But the thing is I stopped working. My last day at work was Wednesday. I had been packing for a week and a half, and my house was fully packed with the exception of the furniture. I stopped work on Wednesday. The movers came to pack the pod on Thursday morning. I took my dogs to the groomer and then took them to the kennel and then came back and they were still packing and then the people came to do the carpets and the packing wasn't done. It was just they were like I was like, well, I just didn't know. I was, like I said, very ambitious with the
Mhm.
schedule. And but needless to say, it all got done somehow, some
Yeah, it
way,
always does. It always does,
and
right?
it
So, yeah.
everything worked.
So now one of the things that you had shared with me
Uh-huh.
was, that you're inspired by the Eastern market in DC, and I had spent a couple of weeks in DC, and I was right by the, Eastern market, and I loved it too. So, talk a little about that because I think people really enjoy hearing, what's inspiring to others, particularly if it's not really like, something that's related to work or a specific family thing, but just something that randomly inspires them.
The Eastern market for me is where I go to get rejuvenated because being an entrepreneur and having your own business, especially if you're just starting out and you're kind of doing things on your own, you haven't yet built a team. Thinking going to the Eastern market just gives me so much inspiration just watching so many vendors. They come and, the Eastern market is a building where there are some stationary shops there. But then outside on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, they're pop-up shops.
Hmm.
And there are like 50 of them all up and down the block. And these people show up and basically build a store from the ground up every weekend. And after having created their wares, their artistry, their cups, their food items, their nuts, their earrings, all of the things, gathering all of their materials, they then come and build this pop-up shop with a tent and sit there. Rain, sleet, snow, they're there. They have their portable heaters, all of these things. But what really gets me is that first of all, it's they're niched. You don't see them out there looking like your local big box store with a little bit of everything. They have accessories. If you want accessories, you have to go here. If you want earrings, you have to go to somebody else. If you want fruit, you have to then go to somebody else. They are very niched in what they're doing. So they are locked in. They are laser focused on their thing. I particularly like the pickle people.
Thinking pickles when you were talking about that.
Yeah, the pickle people is like I look for them every time I go. And then secondarily is that they are true to their craft. They show up. There is not a time that I go where I don't see at least 75% of the very same people every week, week after week. And that just keeps me going. That's like if they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
If
and it's so
they're
creative.
locked in, you can be. Yeah.
When you do one thing, you have to be so creative because you have to find different ways to talk about that one thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. But, what I also know, like with me and the pickle people, there's a few people that I always go and find. When you find your people, they're yours for life.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
I
they know
mean,
you, and all it takes is, like, you've been there twice, and now,
yes,
they're your people.
yes. And and again, another part of that is you build a relationship
Mhm.
where they remember you, you
Yeah.
remember them. All I have to do is step up and they know. They know exactly what I'm gonna get, and if I say something different, they're like, "Are you sure? Because you don't normally." you know, it's a reciprocal thing. I
Yeah.
appreciate them, they appreciate me as a customer, and that kind of relationship building is what it's all about, and that's what we're all at the end of the day, we're as entrepreneurs, we're here to serve. We're here to take whatever it is that we bring to the table that we're really good at, and we want to serve other people with that thing so that they can get what it is that they want. So
Mhm.
I'm inspired every weekend when I go there.
Yeah, I love it. Take some pictures next time, I'd love to see it.
I will do just that. I
And,
have a few people that I'm working with there too, but it's fun.
that is fun. So now, um, what kind of legacy do you wanna create with the work that you are doing? And I'm not talking financial legacy, I'm talking about what's the mark you wanna leave?
For me, my the legacy I want to leave is that no matter who you are, where you start, or what you bring to the table, you are valuable. And there are people that will value you just as you are. And just as you come to the table, and for people to recognize that first and foremost in themselves. Because once you figure that out for yourself, then it will naturally spread. It's like you will blossom and people will begin to take you on as you are and you don't have to pretend or be someone else or anything like that. So that's my legacy. That's why I want to work with midlife women to help them get their find that purpose, find that thing that makes their heart sing and do it.
Yeah, because I think at this age, what happens is you either find another direction and you really embrace what it is that you want to do, or you kind of get lost in the sauce. And that was one of my inspirations for starting this in the first place was, I was getting a little pissed off at the whole Forbes 50 over 50 thing, and I was like, I know some people.
Yeah.
And then I started to do keyword research, and what
Okay.
was coming up with keyword research was, how to date, what not to do, what not to wear,
Oh,
don't do this with your hair, the kind of shoes you should wear, don't eat this, only do this kind of exercise. It was also limiting, but there
yeah.
was nothing in there about, the work that we're doing and the contributions that we're making. And another part of that too is, like, I've been pretty involved with AI
Uh-huh.
since ChatGPT came out, and I
Right.
go to all these trainings and these different webinars and things, and it's mostly really young people and a lot of males. And
Yeah.
I walk into this virtual room and they're like,
It's like, who are you and why are you here?
65-year-old lady, and then I start asking questions, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
they perk up, and like then I get into the conversation, but I am immediately disregarded when I come
Yes.
into that room. So I don't want us to be disregarded. I
Right.
want the world to know that we'll do whatever the hell we please with our hair,
Yes.
and we will
And
do whatever the hell we please with our pants.
thank you. And I mean,
And
it's like
we'll
it's
eat
kind of
what we
keeping
want.
us one dimensional is is
Yeah.
is what it is. It's like, no, I assure you, I am multidimensional and multifaceted. And if you continue to try and paint me as one dimensional, you will find out.
You'll find out the hard way, right?
Yes. And I mean, and it's it's a slow, it's a hard ship to turn, because we've been, you know, in this space where we've been treated a certain way in media, in life, kind of like, well, you can't, and all of this. And so the real 50 over 50, we're the ones that are going to change the tide.
Yeah,
We're turning the tide now,
yeah, I
you
believe
know.
so too, and you don't need to be loud to do it because,
No, not at
when,
all.
um, I've spoken to a lot of women at this
Mhm.
point and, gone through, all the materials they've provided to me, and I've looked through all of their things, and what I'm seeing is that what we're really good at is finding those little communities where we know we could really make a difference
Right.
and making that difference. But when we make that difference for one person, we make that difference for everybody around them. So the
Yes.
impact that we can have collectively, it can't be counted.
Yeah. And I mean, and we've we've been that catalyst. Women have been that type of catalyst across the years, no matter what the activism or whatever it is. We've always been the ones that are in there getting it done and doing the legwork and doing the groundwork and building those relationships. So it's something that, we as women are capable of doing. But now it's like harnessing all of it
Yeah,
and having us all go in the same, pull in the same direction, harness all of that energy, all of that effort across all of our multiple platforms, harnessing that energy and getting us all going in the same direction. Unstoppable.
yeah, unstoppable. And
Unstoppable.
yeah, very, very true. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes left, and one of the things that I saw while I was checking out all of your stuff was that you help people reinvent their lives um, with strategies that take 10 minutes a day. Can you share one of these strategies that people could start implementing in their lives and start a little reinvention on their own?
Sure. My favorite one, and it's one that I started for my birthday month, but you can start it anytime you feel like it, is simply acknowledging myself every day. Every day, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and I do it on my phone, is I write a written acknowledgement to myself for me.
Hmm.
It's like, today I acknowledge. And whatever I'm feeling, whatever's coming up for me, whatever the emotion is, whatever it is, I acknowledge it because it's part of me.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that what we don't acknowledge tends to just hang around. It hangs around in our body and in our thoughts and all of that. So whatever is happening, whatever you're thinking, acknowledge it.
Mhm.
Give it a place, give it a space.
Mhm.
And then once you do that, and that's where the 10 minutes, you acknowledge that thing, then it can't hang and hover over you.
Mhm.
It's out in the open now. You can see it, you can address it, you can do whatever you need to do with it to make it work for you. But when you don't acknowledge yourself in those things, they become insidious and they start to burrow in and give you tension in your neck and in your shoulder, and it begins to fight against you because you're ignoring it. So
Yeah.
that's my one big strategy. Acknowledge yourself every day, first thing,
And
before you do anything else.
that's a really nice practice for validating that every emotion matters, because
Absolutely.
we so often only want to celebrate the good emotions, not the ones that kind of bring us down, but those need to be validated too. They're real,
Yes,
and we're not happy every
absolutely.
day.
Absolutely. We're not always happy, even though we put on that face. We're not
Mhm.
always happy. We're not, things are not always great or good.
Mm.
But when you acknowledge those other things, it makes it makes it, when, like you said, you feel it.
Yeah,
It's there. You see it. You
yeah,
can address it,
yeah,
and it
exactly, and
changes things for you.
yeah, we're not sweeping it under the rug, and then I also think that it helps you acknowledge those things in other people,
Mm-hmm.
so you can be more
Mm-hmm.
empathetic, and that really
Absolutely.
helps build better relationships.
Yes. Yes. Because you see the things that they're going through because some of them resonate with you because
Mhm.
the more you are aware and attuned to yourself, you can tune into others.
Yeah, and that carries over into business too, because you start to recognize those same things happen in your business.
Absolutely. Who you are, you bring to your business.
Uh, yeah, another one of our real 50 over 50 women, Nicole Lewis Keeber, is a business therapist who
Oh,
helps people not bring their childhood trauma into their businesses. She's
oh my
brilliant.
goodness.
So yeah, we've got some mighty women here. We really do.
It's powerful.
It
I,
is
I'm
very
ready to
powerful.
when are we taking it live, Donna?
Um,
I'm just asking. Ah,
we're live right now.
oh,
We're live right now, but
this is gonna be fun.
there's stuff coming. I've got stuff up my sleeve. I've been waiting to have a little bit of a platform built,
Nice.
because I believe in the head snap moment.
Hmm.
After many years in PR, you don't want to start putting things out there in a big way until you're ready to be seen.
Absolutely.
We are ready to be seen.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm there.
We are ready to be seen. So yeah, it's in the works.
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, so we
I'm
are
excited.
just about a little over 30 minutes, but
Okay.
please connect with Carolyn. She is on our Real 50 Over 50 website. We've got a whole profile page for her there, and you could also reach her at taylormckinney.com and on the socials, I'm sure. Everything is
Yes.
linked on our 50 Over 50 page and on her website, I'm sure as well. And if you're listening to the replay, put comments in. We will come back, tag us. We will get into the conversation and join us every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. We have interviews now booked all the way into March 2024, every single Wednesday. So,
Amazing.
yeah, we're going for 200 women. So this will be a 4-year project by the time I'm done.
Powerhouse women. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. Stay tuned. Lots coming. Well, thank you for joining, Carolyn. And oh wait, we got a comment from Lee. She's saying, "Take it on the road."
I'm with you, Lee. I'm 100%.
Yeah, and, and
100%.
when and one of the things that I'm doing with this is I'm like a highly strategic person, but I'm trying to stay out of that lane, and I'm trying to let things happen organically. And so far, there's been a little bit of a lull, but I'm starting to like put people together, and I've got some things that are going to be coming out very soon. So
Nice.
you'll be seeing more of us. And we're here every week, and you could binge the replays like it's Netflix. They're all on the webpage,
Nice.
and we will see you again next Wednesday with another real 50 over 50 woman. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.